the basis of all nutrition, all gardening, all plants, the basis of life, and to some degree the basis of consciousness is about minerals. And what are minerals? Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, boron, calcium, potassium, iodine, zinc, copper, selenium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, the stuff that we're made out of. Does that make sense to everybody? How many people know that the actual amount of the major minerals in our body is like this much, and the actual amount of trace minerals is like that much? Very small amount. And the big amount of minerals in our body is over in this category, which is like hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Now here's where this comes in. It turns out that that model isn't actually accurate. It turns out that the way we analyze things there's a mistake in the way we analyze mineral matter, which is the cut, burn, poison, analyze therapy. And that is, there are elements in the overall sphere of everything, in our food, in us, in rocks, that when you cut, burn, poison, analyze, get converted so they look like carbon, or they look like a metal. And there's a group of elements in here that's been forgot about, it's been missed or misidentified. And they're more female elements. They don't like to be caught with their pants down. They like to go to the bathroom together. What does that mean? It means they don't like being separated and isolated and analyzed individually. They like to be more in a group or in a community. And therefore they defy our standard methods for scientific analysis, which isn't scientific and it isn't really analysis, it's just theoretical, really. And I could break this down to the nth degree exactly where the analytical problems scientifically are with spectroscopic signatures, the way things are burned and analyzed, why that causes oxidation, which changes the nature of the atomic structure of materials itself, why the periodic table of the elements is actually a morgue. The periodic table of the elements is a morgue. It's inaccurate. Why? Because it can, when you ash something to convert it to being something you can use in a spectrometer, it actually doesn't give you an accurate reading of what that substance was when it was living. Okay, so the periodic table of the elements is a morgue. High energy particles are living elements. So these elements that we talk about, the minerals, can be in various forms of living. And when they're in a real high energy state, they actually don't really behave like any of the minerals that we know about. They're actually something else, and that's what we call hormus. Who's confused so far? Anybody? Okay. Basically, here's what it is. There's minerals in the soil that aren't what we thought they were. There's minerals in the atmosphere that aren't what they thought they were. They're actually not this, they're more this. And when we're dealing with this right here, this is about 4/9 light and about 5/9 here. So it's kind of shoved off into another dimension a little bit. Some foods have more of this than other foods. Some foods, if they're grown properly, will have more of this than other foods. And if we really got clever, and we have gotten to a point where, with our understanding about mineralization, that the more minerals that are in the soil, the better the food is. How many people are aware of that? How many people are aware that the more minerals that are in the soil, the more vitamins, enzymes, nutrients, coenzymes, etc., 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 are present? How many people are aware that the more minerals that are in the soil, the more capable the plant is of defending itself, creating its own natural pesticides? How many people are aware of that? In mineral deficient soil, there's not enough minerals, so therefore the plant becomes weak, and therefore we end up with pesticide, larvicide, fungicide, herbicide, genetically modified, the whole show. So it all comes really back down to this. This is where we need to be focusing. With food that has no minerals in it, how many people would suspect that demineralized food causes people's consciousness to become like the customs office when you cross the border?
Yeah, but the economics, it's about yield. As long as you can get 20,000 bushels, you don't care if it's a, we care if this well, you said 1% care, but the other 99%, they'll just assume eat demineralized food and you eat that.
Who makes the changes?
You gotta do it individually.
We do it. So it doesn't matter if nobody else gets it. That doesn't matter. Nobody else got the Wright brothers. They thought those guys were crazy. Nobody else got Thomas Edison. He was nuts. Nobody else got Tesla. He was totally out to lunch. But so it's going to take individuals who are going to actually push the equation the way we want it to go and move it the way we want it to go. So we have gotten to a place where our understanding of mineral science, of getting minerals available to plants, is extremely advanced. It started with the Hindus back 5,000 years ago who had a phrase about rock dust. They would take rocks like river silt and go and dump that on their crops. Why? Because that's all broken down stone, high amount of surface area exposed. And they said this. This is a Hindu phrase. God sleeps in stone, breathes in plants, dreams in animals, and awakens in man.
Say it again.
God sleeps in stone, breathes in plants, dreams in animals, and awakens in man. They understood this principle of mineralization. That what nature's trying to do is try to pulverize all those rocks down so it can get something useful. And it's going after some of this, it's going after some of this, but it's also going after this. A whole category of minerals completely unknown. Is it possible that we come into the age of industrialization, technology, communication, information, and missed something massive? And the answer is, of course. There's only one thing we know about science, and that is it's continuously being thrown into the trash heap. Why? Because new advances take the old idea and go, this is no longer valid, it's gone. In the same way that Einstein's theory threw out Newton's theory, in the same way that quantum physics threw out Einstein's theory, in the same way as the quote-unquote latest technologies are throwing out quantum physics.